Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading this is part 2 of 2023, your yearly reading. And we're going to look at houses 5 through 8 in these readings. So in your fifth house here, which represents romance, creativity, play, self-expression, children, things like that, you have this community card and this false person card. I do feel like you have dealt with a false person in the past, probably someone who kept you waiting. And really, it's almost not even worth mentioning, honestly, because I feel that you're moving past it very, very quickly, especially with the Fool. It's like there's a very quick new beginning coming in for you here. Like if you are looking for love, even if you're not looking for love, and even if you are, Virgo, I feel there's a change coming in the way that you do your work. I feel like I've said this to you about 1,000,000 times this year. And this change that you're doing, not only do I feel like it's more fulfilling, but I also feel like it really, I feel like it makes you happier, like the new change that could be coming in the way that you work or the way that you present yourself in work. It's almost as if you're really focusing on doing things that you want to do, not things that you feel like you should be doing. And because of that, look, you have the Death card here as well. So, I feel there's a lot more. You're feeling more fulfilled is exactly what I was going to say. So I feel like you feel more fulfilled in work or the things that you're doing. Again, in your fifth house, you have this community card and this false person card here. Like I said, I feel like someone kept you waiting here, Virgo, just in general. I do feel for a small percentage of you that you could be dealing with a person who their person kept them waiting. And if you are in that situation, by the way, I feel that this person, you could be dealing with a person who's a little bit closed off. And so if you meet a person this year, or for some of you, I feel like you've already met this person or you're about to. So even, if today is the 15th of December. So if you're watching this before the new year, you could be meeting this person in December, even though we only have 15, 16 days left of the year, really, which is crazy to me. But I feel like you could meet this person very quickly. But for some of you, it'll obviously be in 2023. If you find them being a little bit standoffish, a little bit closed off, I don't think they're totally closed off, because I think if they were totally closed off, you wouldn't even bother dealing with it. I think that maybe there's some moments where you just sense a little something. I would bring it up. You have the Ace of Swords and the King of Swords, literally saying communicate, right? Literally saying open your mouth to this person, be like, what's the deal? I feel like they will tell you that they dealt with a false person in the past who kept them waiting. And I feel like they just don't want to repeat a mistake. You have the Two of Wands as well. So again, if you're dealing with a person from a distance, Two of Wands, Three of Wands, there could be a lot of fulfillment here. But again, I feel like this person has played this game before. Those are the words that are popping into my head. Whether it's you or them, I don't know. But what I would say here is whoever it is, it's I feel that there's something new coming in for you. Or, again, it could be this person, and I feel like you need to realize that it's safe for you to open up to this connection. But again, if you're dealing with a standoffish person, that could be why. There is something here with your community as well. I would explore your community. Again, fifth house is childlike energy. It can represent children. And maybe you need to be more playful, or maybe you need to explore your community more, meet more people that are part of your community. This could be a work community, business community. Literally, your community could be anything. But you have the Fool, the Two of Cups, and the Hangman here. Again, I feel someone was kept waiting, whether it was you or a person that you're dealing with. Someone has become enlightened, though. His head is glowing here. I also feel like someone has sacrificed enough. I'm getting something about sacrifice here. Again, the Hangman has sacrificed the use of his arms and his legs. But here's the thing, is I really feel like you need to set yourself free here. We go Hangman, Eight of Swords to the Ten of Wands. It's still carrying burdens. Eight of Swords can represent only seeing one way of doing things in your life, Virgo. This could be in any area of your life, work, business, or otherwise. And look at this, Virgo. Look at the time, 111, right there. So I feel for some of you that this row right here is saying that you could only be seeing one way of doing things in any area of your life. Literally, if we go this way, your solution is the King of Swords. King of Swords can represent an expert or someone who just knows more than you about whatever it is that you're doing in your life, work, business, love, or otherwise. Could be any gender as well, but I always say King of Swords to me represents a person who can solve your problem very, very quickly. For a lot of you, I feel this could be a person in your community. It could be a person that you just know. I feel it's someone who is close to you, though. Normally, what I would say with the King of Swords is that it could represent some sort of expert. So usually with the King of Swords, we have to go find this person. Like if you're having a legal issue, it could be a lawyer. If you're having a health issue, it could be a doctor, right? But in this situation here, I feel like it's like a friend or, just someone you're close with, someone who you see as very knowledgeable. So if you're wondering who this person is that can help you with your problem, it's probably someone that you see right now as being very knowledgeable. You have the Two of Cups here. So definitely romance coming in for you this year. For some of you, I feel like you're doubting it. Is what I would say. You're like the second side. I'm wondering if you're attracting a Scorpio here because you end with the Death card, and I think I said the same thing to Scorpio, that they could have a person that is like doubting love or is doubting whether or not they'll find a person. I feel like this person is very different than your usual type. I kind of also am getting this message of needing to look at your past mistakes in relationships and needing to just say what is the common thing that keeps happening in my relationships. I think there could be some answers there for you in what needs to change, what you need to change, or maybe there's a type of person that you always attract and maybe that needs to change, right? These two people, again, are meant to look very different on the Two of Cups. So I feel like you could be attracting a person who is different than your usual type. You also have the Fool here. For some of you, it's kind of funny because I just see you, if you meet a person this year in 2023, I just see you kind of taking a leap of faith, just going for it. Maybe normally you would be a little bit more cautious in approaching a person or going, out with a person or whatever, but I feel like you just kind of just go with it for some of you. For others, I feel that you could be attracting a person who's like this little dog right here. You see that dog? That dog represents loyalty on the Fool. It also represents fancy energy as well. It's meant to be a Maltese, this little white dog here. And in the times of tarot, the Maltese was like the dog of royalty, the dog of someone very important. So I do feel like you could be attracting a person who's very important, or you are the very important person. I'm not sure which. It doesn't matter. But what I would say is I feel like someone is just down to clown. I feel like someone is just down for the ride. This is like a ride or die type of situation that you're attracting here. So let's see what is going on for you here, Virgo. With the Fool, you have the speculation card. Pretty interesting because I feel like you need to not speculate. I feel this is saying don't just assume that things are going to go a certain way in a relationship. Look, there's two people up here. I feel like you need to get down to brass tacks. I feel like you need to look at the facts of a situation. Maybe you get caught up in the fantasy. Maybe you attract people and you kind of get caught up in creating those fantasies, whatever you want to call it, in your head. And I feel like this is saying you need to focus on actions. Pretty much everyone has had this year. What I would say is that we have Saturn going into Pisces this year. And Saturn in Pisces is about literally taking a dream and bringing it down to earth, literally. So, Pisces is all about daydreaming and dreams. And then with the Saturn energy, much more serious, much more doing the work, putting things out into the world. So I feel like for some of you, this is saying, put in the work and make sure that there's actual evidence that something is going to work. With the Two of Cups, you have this organization card, you. You organizing things. This card, I think, is actually Capricorn, but if it wants to focus. But I really feel this is your energy. I feel like you could be attracting a person who is a little bit maybe more chaotic as well, but not in a bad way. I just think they have a system. I call it a system personally. It's me personally, I'll just give you an example. I like to do dishes a certain way. I kind of have a way that I just put them in the dishwasher and everything gets clean, right? But I live with my brother and, he has to have the forks in the same thing, the spoons in the same thing, the plates have to be all lined up and all this other stuff. So it drives him crazy when I do the dishes. Kind of, part of me, this is a good way for me to get away with not doing the dishes, right? By just throwing it all in there. But at the same time, I have a system. My system works. I feel like you could be attracting a person who also has a system for things, but maybe it drives you a little bit crazy. So, I don't know. That could be a clue as to who this person is. With the Hangman here, you have this resistance card. I would be, if I were you, and I'm not, so I can't do this for you, but I would be facing resistance at all costs this year. I would be looking for resistance if I were you. I'm not even a Virgo, but just based off your astrology, if I was a Virgo, I would definitely be looking at all areas of my life where there is resistance, and I would be saying either how can I overcome this resistance, how can I better work with this type of resistance, or what am I resisting? I feel like that you are very close. Again, one of my favorite books of all time, The War of Art. And no, I'm not talking about The Art of War. Everyone always corrects me. No, I am talking about The War of Art, which is a completely different book by Stephen Pressfield. Definitely a book I recommend. And he says when we are the closest to success, that is when we experience the most resistance. And I feel that for you. And This is coming up in the area of your fifth house. The fifth house has a lot to do with good fortune, good luck, good things, pleasure, creativity. So I feel like maybe you need to be a little bit more creative in wherever you are experiencing resistance. I literally feel it could be in multiple areas of your life where you feel like you can't move forward or you experience some sort of resistance in some way. And I feel like your answer is creativity, coming up with creative solutions, maybe not necessarily organized solutions, right? So embrace the chaos this year, Virgo. Next in the area of your sixth house, which has to do with your daily routine, your work habits, things like that, you have this balance card. It says this Libra card says balance on it. You also have this Imam Coeli card, which says root on it. The Imam Coeli, the ICE, is the bottom of your chart. So again, I don't obviously your charts are all different. Not every Virgo has the same chart, so it's the bottom of your chart, the root of your chart. I feel like you could be kind of doing some shadow work here intuitively. I'm getting popping into my head. I also feel you could be kind of like working on some self-improvement stuff. The sixth house is self-improvement. So there might be some things about you that you're trying to bring into balance or that you are trying to improve upon in some way. So I do think that's a good thing. You have the Two of Wands, the Eight of Swords, and the Ace of Swords here as well. For some of you, I feel like there are some truths that could be revealed to you this year. I feel like at first you're kind of like a little bit put off by these truths, right? So maybe people are telling you the truth about like the work that you're doing and you're like, hey, screw you, to someone because maybe they're like criticizing your work or something. But I think if you think about it, right, and you look at the work, I feel like, you might be like, actually, there's something to what they're saying. And I feel it could actually be leading you to a victory. That's why I'm telling you this. So if you feel like someone is criticizing you, what I'm getting is that they might actually be criticizing you. They might actually be being a jerk. That is totally true, right? But at the same time, I feel like there's just like a little bit of truth in there, right? In what they say, especially if you feel triggered by what they're saying about your work or about your business or career or whatever. But there's something in it for you. So again, I wouldn't just throw it away. And even, again, if people are just being jerks to you, then that's like a totally different story. But, I feel like there's just like, I kind of feel those moments of just being a little bit triggered. Again, the Ace of Swords, it cuts both ways. So it can hurt, but it can also lead to a victory. I see a lot of success for you in business, and we haven't even done, in part 3, we're going to be doing your 10th house, and I have a very strong feeling that you're going to have a very strong 10th house when we get there. I could be totally wrong, but, just based off of your astrology. So I feel there could be some career changes for you. But I feel like you need to be open to these changes. Again, you have the Eight of Swords here. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. It is my card of only seeing one way of doing things when there are many ways of doing things. And guess what else? You have the Two of Wands. Two of Wands is literally about leaving a comfort zone. He's standing at the top of a castle. He kind of feels like he has peaked, right? He feels like he has accomplished everything that he wants to accomplish. He's standing in his castle. And the story of him, this guy in the Two of Wands, is that he feels like there's nothing more for him to do. He feels like he's rushed to a finish line. He didn't enjoy the journey. But he has the whole world in his hands. There's so much more for him to do. There's so much more for him to accomplish if he wants to accomplish it. He just has to go out and do it. He has to discover new things. So don't be afraid to, discover new opportunities. These two cards were sticking to my hand, literally, and I could not get them off. So I'm going to shuffle them back into the deck, but you have this card that says status and this card that says choices on it. Some of you could be attracting a person who has status. You could be the person who is gaining status this year as well. And I feel like you have a choice as to like who you allow into your life. I do feel there could be some lessons there, but anyway, back to the story here. I feel like for some of you, it's kind of like you could be needing to just, not be afraid to create something new. I can't control this deck right now for you, Virgo, so I don't know what's going on here, but you have this impulsiveness card, rebellion, this fulfillment card. I would be careful of being rebellious as well. I normally have butterfingers, but this is above and beyond what I normally have, right? So let's see here. With the Two of Wands, you have the discovery card. Yep, you have to be open to discovery. It reminds me of like, manifestor generator energy. I'm not that. I haven't really looked that much into human design or whatever all that much. I'm a manifestor generator, and I think if I'm not wrong, manifestor generators are meant to come to Earth to show people like that you can create new things. That's like one of the things that you don't have to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. That you can start new projects in life. You can start new careers, new relationships, and you can be continuously evolving and continuously experiencing new experiences. And, I'm not saying you have to be a manifestor generator. Again, I have no clue what I'm talking about with human design. I just started learning about it like literally this year. So, again, I don't know what I'm talking about. But what I would say is it doesn't matter what you are. I feel like you could be kind of embracing that energy of being an explorer, looking for new opportunities, new things. And I feel like this could just be very exciting in your life, could lead to some excitement as well. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Defense card. I'm wondering if a situation this year, 2022, right? I'm wondering if something has happened in 2022 that is kind of like opening you up to more adventure, but it kind of looks like maybe something that hurts a little bit. I feel like I said this to you in your last reading, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm not like, this doesn't, this doesn't strike me as something totally out of left field. It doesn't strike me as something to be concerned about or crazy. Like sometimes I think people go through something very hard in life and they do something like a little bit wild. Like maybe they have a heartbreak and they're like, I'm going to quit my job and move to Bali. I'm not saying that's a bad idea either, but what I am saying is like, that's a little bit crazy. Sometimes I think we can just completely go the wrong direction. This feels different to me. It feels like you're like, you know what? I need to just change things up. I need to mix up my routine here. I need to do something different. But it's a little bit more organized, again, than that. It's not totally chaotic, right? With the Ace of Swords, you have the Generosity card. There is someone in your life who wants to help you, or who would be willing to help you. It could be a friend, a family member. It's this King of Swords energy. Doesn't have to be an air sign. Doesn't even have to be a man. It could be any gender is popping into my head. But again, I feel you clearly see this person as wise in your head. And this person wants to be generous. This person wants to help. So don't be afraid to tap into your resources of like people, especially if you have like a person who you see as very smart or very intelligent. Again, you could have a business and maybe they have a similar business and they could be very helpful. You could have a relationship. They could have very good relationships in life and maybe you're struggling and they have good relationships and maybe they could help you. So, again, I would like tap into your resources with this energy. Next, in your 7th house of relationships, marriage, you have this Loyal Heart card and this Breathe card. I feel like some of you, there's clearly someone who's going to be very loyal coming in for you. I feel like you're getting a little bit impatient in relationships. Not true for all of you, of course, but for some of you, you could be getting a little bit impatient. Like, where is this person? I've been doing things on my own. You have the 10 of Wands. So I feel like you see yourself as kind of like going through life alone. But really, if you want love, I feel like there's someone who would be very loyal to you. I feel like this person is extremely patient as well. Like you're attracting a patient person. Maybe you're the opposite, or take it how it resonates. Again, you could be very patient. I always say to people, take it how it resonates. You could be the patient one. This other person could be very impatient. It's like, but the two of you together, I feel like kind of create patience. Maybe you are meant to teach a person patience, or they're meant to teach you how to be patient in life as well. So I kind of feel that could be coming in for you. The more at peace you can be with yourself, I feel the better as well, especially for those of you that are looking for a relationship this year. The more kind of putting yourself in receptive mode would be a good idea. Putting yourself in the energy of allowing yourself to receive love, I feel would be a great idea. You have the 10 of Wands, the 3 of Wands, and the King of Swords. It is interesting that a few signs have had the King of Swords for love in these love houses. And so, I do feel there's like two energies that I think are probably maybe the most attractive right now, King of Swords and King of Cups. You obviously have the King of Swords here. It doesn't have to be an air sign. I think it's just someone who's very, very wise. There's a certain thing that I've noticed personally about King of Swords type people. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you're attracted to. King of Swords type people, they have a lot of ideas. And they also usually, they're very good like in the moment. They can handle pretty much anything that is thrown at them. They pretty much have an answer for everything, but not in an annoying way. It's like there's some people who have an answer for everything and it's annoying, right? But this type of person, they just have a lot of wisdom. The King of Swords has been through the most battles as well. And there's kind of like two ways you can go. If you've been through a lot of battles in life, you can develop a chip on your shoulder and become a jerk, or you can become more like the positive version of the King of Swords. You can become a person who turns it into wisdom. You can become a person who turns it into knowledge. Some of you, I feel like, are doing that. I feel like you're looking at your battles and you're saying, I've been through a lot, but I'm turning this into a benefit. I'm not going to turn this into a chip on my shoulder. But I also feel like you could be attracting a person like that who has been through a lot, but it's like no matter what, I feel like they turn everything they've been through into like a little like metal, on their chest, kind of like a military person, right? Someone who it just says, you know what, I've learned from this. This is what I've learned, and I'm going to put that into action, right? So you could be attracting a person like that for sure. I also feel, as always with you, right? You know what's crazy? This is the craziest thing. Is before I started your reading, I was shuffling this astrology deck, and you have this card, which you always get, and this transformation card, but obviously it wasn't meant to be in there, so pretty crazy. It wasn't at the top or anything like that, but it is interesting. And right here, you have this butterfly right at the top. He's actually got butterflies all down the back of his chair there, his throne. So I feel you could either be going through a major transformation or you're attracting a person who is going through a major transformation. And well, actually, I feel if you're attracting a person who is, I feel like you both are kind of at these very transformative places in your life where you're going through some changes. So that could be something where, again, obviously, if you meet a person who's going through a major change, that could be like a clue as to who this person is. You also have the Three of Wands here. Three of Wands is my card that says, what are you waiting for, Virgo? It's like you have, every single reading I've been doing for you for the past 4 years has had the Fool in it. It's like there's some sort of change. There's something you want to do. And I feel like you have to take the leap of faith to do it. It's like, I feel like that you could be bigger. And I'm not sure, I'm not calling you out here or anything like that, but I do feel there's some fears. Maybe the fears of criticism, the fear of being criticized, which I think is true for everyone because we have Pluto going into Aquarius next year. And it's only gonna be in Aquarius briefly, then it's gonna retrograde back into Capricorn. But it's kind of like the start of Pluto in Aquarius. It's gonna be there for 20 years, right? So that's a long ass time, Virgo. And I think everyone needs to face the fear of being exposed, being criticized, being wrong for whatever, right? And this is coming up in the area of your relationship. So this could have to do with all relationships, not just love, right? You could be fearing that if you make a decision to start a business or whatever, that your family is going to criticize you. That's part of relationships, right? Or maybe your friends, or maybe you are afraid of what your relationships will think, your friends, your family, everything, if you start a business or if you, expose something to be true or whatever the case may be. So this is going to be a major theme for you, but I kind of feel like this is saying, do it. You are expanding. Three of Wands is a good card. It's a card of expansion, right? You also have the Ten of Wands here, so something is weighing heavily or has weighed heavily on your shoulders. I feel like you've been experiencing a lot of burdens. I feel like you feel like a little bit of a workhorse as well. Like you're always having to do something, kind of like a beast of burden, right? I feel you kind of maybe feel that feeling with the Ten of Wands. I'm not saying that you're going to continue to experience it, and I definitely feel like you're not. I feel like you're about to put some burdens down. But here's the thing. I feel like you need to find ways to put some burdens down as well. Like, I feel like you need to find ways to kind of, take a break, take a vacation. I feel like this will help your relationships. It's not like directly connected to your relationships, but at the same time, it's like if you're always working, then it's hard to have a healthy relationships, right? And I feel like some of you need to find some ways to, especially for those of you that have like a business or something like that. It's like, I know, I personally have multiple businesses, right? And it's like, if I didn't have people helping me, I would have no relationships at all, period, right? Obviously, I couldn't do it without the help of employees and things like that. So, I kind of feel that with this Ten of Wands energy is that, some of you maybe need to get the help of other people or something like that, or you need to develop those types of relationships with people, basically. With the Ten of Wands, you have the status card. Boom, that card popped out at the beginning. So, I feel like you are probably focused on gaining status, or you are gaining status in some way. So that could be nice, especially if you're attracting love. You could be attracting a person where you both are gaining status together. A lot of people have been getting energy like this in relationships. It's kind of weird because I don't know that I feel like that there are going to be more relationships in the near future. I feel like there are going to be less relationships in the near future. But what I would say is the people who are in relationships, who choose to be in relationships, they are probably going to be like relationships that increase status in some way. So, there you go. With the Three of Wands, you have this Vision card. Could be a Pisces coming in for some of you. You basically have everything here, so it could be any sign. But it's funny also that you have the Three of Wands, which is a card of vision, and you have this Vision card. Three of Wands is about like seeing the future. It's about foresight and being able to see something happen before it happens. So I feel like you need to trust your intuition, number one, but I also feel you need to trust your foresight. Like if you feel like something is going to happen, then it probably is. Trust your intuition. With the King of Swords, you have this principle card. I feel this is a person of principle right here. Could be a parent. This right here kind of reminds me of the Hierophant because we have this right here, the Mitre. That kind of reminds me of the Hierophant card. You also have the Sun, the Father, the Moon, the Mother. So if you're looking for advice, it could be a parent. It might not be your parent. It could be someone's parent as well that, it could be a person that you look as like a father or a mother like figure. And remember we were talking about advice here. It is funny that you have the sun and the moon there. I feel like you could be attracting like a divine counterpart or someone who is like the moon to your sun. Maybe you're very different. Maybe you're a morning person, they're a night person. Maybe there's just some sort of difference here. And again, the Two of Cups really tells us that because the Two of Cups is about two totally different people coming together. Next, what are we doing? Oh, yeah, your 8th house, the house of intimacy, shared resources, debt, taxes, other people's money, things like that. You have this strategy card. It says, becoming more strategic to succeed long term. We were basically talking about this here as well. There is a certain amount of strategy in the 7th house as well, but it could involve other people, like building business relationships and things like that. You also have this perfection card. It says, you will do much better than you expected. Show yourself compassion and be kind to yourself. The perfectionist in you is causing you stress and delaying progress. We basically said this with the 3 of Wands as well. Like, what are you waiting for? So I would be careful of being a Virgo perfectionist. You are a Virgo, so, I get it. It makes sense. But I feel like maybe you need to get a little messy this year. Or you could have a friend or a family member or someone who is a little messy, like I said, like I am to my brother. And, he doesn't really have any Virgo in his chart. He's a Leo, but, he's still a perfectionist. And maybe you need a person to show you that you can just throw the dishes in the dishwasher and it doesn't freaking matter. He might tell you a different story, but I promise you they come out clean every single time, right? If I do them the way that I do them. And I feel like some of you maybe need to embrace some messiness in your life. You have the Death card, the 8 of Cups, you do have the 4 of Cups and the 9 of Cups here. The Death card is coming up in your 8th house. The 8th house is Scorpio. This is Scorpio right here, so you could be attracting a Scorpio. It is also the house of death, so you could be experiencing a transformation. Again, I don't predict death because to me it's against tarot ethics to predict death, but some of you could be just dealing with a transformation. And again, honestly, I don't feel the death of like a person or something. I feel the death of maybe the way that you do things in your business or your career. It does feel work or business related. Even if you're retired, this could be the death of the way, like your daily routine. Your 6th house is your daily routine. And you have this discovery card in your 6th house. So you could be changing the way that you operate day to day. Something is changing there. The good news is that back here we have the 2 pillars from the moon. And the sun is coming up between those 2 pillars. So I feel that whatever is changing is going to be an improvement for you here, Virgo. You also have the 4 of Cups here. The 4 of Cups is like trying to get things to manifest a certain way. So I do feel like some of you are trying to manifest things a certain way in your life. And, I feel like things have not been manifesting how you want them to with the 4 of Cups. But what I would say is that the 4 of Cups to me is a card of manifestation. And maybe he's trying to manifest a cake is the example I always give, but he's like manifesting the flour, the sugar, the eggs. So he feels like he doesn't have everything he needs, but he actually does. He just has to mix it all together. So I feel something about manifestations. I feel like this is having to do with like intimacy with other people. So if you're looking for love, for example, it's like maybe you actually are getting what you want with a person, but just is like different. And it's like how you work together, how you communicate is going to make something work. You also have the 9 of Cups here, so I feel like you're going to be feeling very fulfilled. If you have a business, 8th house is other people's money. It could be money going out, but it could also be money coming in, and I feel like there is going to be money coming in. So if you have like a business, even if you have a career that involves getting money from other people, then this looks very, very good to me here, Virgo. So let's clarify this. And let's see, with the Death card, you have the Riches card. Love it. Definitely a lot of abundance coming in for you. But this abundance, I feel, is coming in through a change in business. It's like you're doing something different in work or business. With the 4 of Cups, you have the Birth card here. it could be just talking about a rebirth because you have the death card. I don't really feel birth energy here, if I'm being honest. So other than, again, you could be doing something new in your business or something. That could be birth energy, but I really feel more rebirth energy. I know that sounds like the same thing, but it really isn't. I feel like it's more, I feel like it's more of like a transformative energy, where something is transforming in your life. And, whatever it is, it's going to be a good thing. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Enthusiasm card. Definitely fulfillment, a lot of happiness coming in for you. You also have Sagittarius energy twice. You have Mercury in Sagittarius and then the Sun in Sagittarius right here. You could be attracting a Sagittarius, could be any sign, but I feel like kind of doing things in your life that make you feel more enthusiastic is what you need to do here, especially if you feel like you've lost your, that zest for life, especially in career. If like you feel like you're just in the grind, just doing the same thing over and over again, I feel like it needs more, creativity, more messiness. Get messy, Virgo, is what I'm going to say to you. We're also going to pull 5 main themes here to see if there's any additional details here in these 4 houses. You have this ring card. It says a marriage will take place either romantically or in business. There you go. Some of you could be getting married. If you're not getting married, could be meaning the person that you will marry, obviously. You have this bad card. It says something important such as a new job or a raise. So there you go. Definitely increasing your money. You have that riches card. But again, you're going to be increasing your money by being more creative, by embracing creative opportunities, looking for new opportunities, doing things differently, and just kind of like, be more in that, I just see more of like this spontaneous, being more in a spontaneous energy. I also feel like you could be, again, I feel like you could be attracting a person where that could really be helping you with your business as well. You could be attracting a person who just knows how to be messy, who knows how to just put the business out there and just knows how to promote it or something like that. I don't know. It's popping into my head. But definitely could be increasing your bag. You have this cane card. It says pay attention to your health. Your 6th house looks pretty good. Again, I'm not a doctor, so do not take this as medical advice, but I would obviously do things to stay healthy at this time. You do have Saturn in Pisces this year, which is your opposite sign. It's going to be there till 2026 as well, so definitely a good time to watch your health. You have this cup card. It says you should accept valid criticism. Literally, I talked about this, right? I said that someone could be criticizing you, and it might actually be hurtful, but I don't think it's like hurtful, like it hurts your feelings. I feel like you're just like, hey, screw you, like I said earlier. And I would just listen to it because it could be, I'm not even saying, like I said, it might not even be, the person might just be being a jerk, but I think there's just like a grain of truth in something someone says to you about your work or your business. You have this egg card. It says success assured with good plans and hard work. Yes, definitely. And the other thing I would add to that is more efficient work. Like maybe there's people you could hire or people you get to help you, but this is one heck of a reading here, Virgo, so definitely a lot of stuff to think about, I think, but looks pretty good, so thank you for being here. Really appreciate it, and definitely enjoy your year.